What's going on, everybody? I'm Nino Brown. This is the CFB Nation. I got my right-hand man in the building, KT, the governor of college football. And this is DEVY Darling. My man, how we doing?
Hey, I'm feeling fantastic, man. I was at the Liberty game last night, and they have this ritual at the beginning of the fourth quarter where the lights dim completely, and I think they have the best pyrotechnics in all of college football. Everybody got their lighters up or their cameras, the lights on, and then you hear Journey, "Don't Stop Believing," and it's this amazing thing that happens, and you just, it's one of those, like, you gotta be there. I can explain it a million times, but you gotta be there. So I'm feeling amazing, bro.
It's been a wild 3 weeks of college football, three and a half if you want to include week 0. But yeah, sure. It's been phenomenal. We just talked about in the green room the change in the AP poll up and down. It's crazy.
It is.
But I wanted to capitalize on some recency. Just happened this weekend. LSU took on South Carolina, and it was something that I kind of talked about with you, with Boomer, with a few people. LSU's running game had no explosiveness. And we'll get to it later in the show. But this gentleman, this young true freshman running back, Caden Durham, he put a little bit of explosiveness on the map this Saturday. And I think it's something that needs to be talked about, because I think his production is going to be seen for the rest of the season, and there's a good chance that we might be seeing this guy in a few years play on Sundays versus playing on Saturdays. Caden Durham, 5'9", 205 pounds, out of Duncanville, Texas, straight out of Duncanville High School. Now, I just want to let you know, his team is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he was teammate with Keelan Russell, quarterback, the 5-star quarterback that transferred over to from SMU to Alabama. DeCorian Moore, the wide receiver that's committed to Oregon. Like, the team was loaded. They won back-to-back 6A championships in Texas. Like, it's top-notch. But this kid, 4-star running back, was number 5 in the class in 2024, right? He was a top 14 player out of Texas. Did they just grow these guys in a room somewhere? I don't know how they do it, but they do. He's a 2-sport athlete, both track and football. I'm going to go with an average run of 10.7 in 100 meters. He was down at, 10.5, somewhere around, 10.90, a few 11. So this guy averages around 10.7 in 100 meters. That's booming. You're talking like Junior Olympics in track and field. The kid's got gas. So, like, you saw a little bit of it in the South Carolina game. I mean, if you watch any of his huddle tape, any of it, you blink and you might have missed him coming out the hole, and then all of a sudden he's on the field by himself, just running downfield. He got invited to the Polynesian Bowl, played in the Polynesian Bowl last season before he went on to LSU. Talk to us a little bit about his time at Duncanville and some of the ridiculous numbers that this kid.
Yeah, his numbers are sick. You're talking about he pretty much almost averaged 10 yards per carry in his high school career. He had 210 attempts his junior year for 1,960 yards, 36 touchdowns. You did that wasn't an error. 36 touchdowns, had 9 receptions for 93 yards, and added another score. His senior year, 202 attempts, 2,027 yards, and again 35 touchdowns, had 8 100-yard games, 14 catches, 292 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns. It's just crazy what this kid did in high school.
It's video game numbers.
It is.
I mean, and Duncanville, obviously, one of the top, I'm going to say top 5 teams, probably top 3 in Texas in high school. So in the 6A category, this team is just loaded every single year. They just find them that plug and play. But I don't know if it's plug and play with this talent. This kid, like, he had almost 40 touchdowns. I believe he had 40 his junior year with receiving and the rushing, right? Averaging over 30 touchdowns every year. He was the starter. Just dumb numbers. I love what he's got. What his attributes are, what you see that jumps off the screen. Before we talk about the offense, we'll talk about the attributes. It is speed, right? Like I talked about a little bit, the 10.7, but it's like top end speed.
Right.
He gets out, you give him a little crack at a window, and this kid's got a lane. You're going to be staring at number 29, probably for the rest of the play till the whistle's blown or till he hits the end zone and runs out of bounds, because this kid has that take it away speed once he's out in the open field. 5'9", kind of a little bit undersized. Man, he runs hard. Like he plays a little bit bigger than the 5'9".
He does.
He's not afraid of contact. The dude has excellent excellent contact balance. I'm talking about like you ain't coming in there with you seen it. He ran into a pile of 3 dudes, took the bounce off, did a spin move for the first touchdown, right? Ended up diving in the end zone on the left side for the score. But like you can't go in there with these weak arm tackles, right? DBs and safeties, you better go for the legs to try to wrap this kid up and or hold him until somebody can knock him down because he's got that grittiness like Fournette had. Like who was the other guy? I'm not a big fan of him, but the guy who went to Washington.
Juice.
Darius
Guys. There he is.
Guys.
Yeah.
Both those guys are physical runners, right? You know what I mean? They're a little bit bigger. 6 foot, but he has that physicality to him, and he has the explosiveness, which I absolutely love. He's got a good jump cut. You know, it's not. I'm not DeMarco Murray, but he has that nice jump cut where he can get separation coming out of the hole. Patience. He does not mind letting the block sit up. Peekaboo, right? All of a sudden, he's in a pack of guys, and boom, jump cut, one swift move out. He's out there. He's a jack in the box type player, and then boom, he's gone. And he eats up chunks of yards quickly. Didn't get used a ton in the receiving game because I mean you had wide receivers galore in Duncanville, but it did show a little bit. Like I said, there was probably I think he had like total of like close to 20 receptions between the 3 years that he was a starter at Duncanville. So it was used. He was used in this game against South Carolina, both on the ground and through the air. So it's there. South Carolina, I mean LSU can use him as we've seen in the game against South Carolina. They need the explosive guy coming out the hole, and they were struggling. And this kid grabbed the bull by the horns and took off in this game. Fully loaded, right? They 20-plus offers and by big name recruiters who have brought in big talent. So they see it as well. Like I said, LSU, there's 20-plus offers. LSU, Wisconsin, Alabama, Nebraska, Penn State, Texas, Oklahoma. All the big dogs. There's plenty. But I mentioned DeMarco Murray. I mean, he was heavy in trying to bring in Caden Durham, and that was before Tatum signed. So they ended up getting Taylor Tatum, but he was responsible for Sawchuck and Bonds and Smothers, who's not there anymore. I mean, at LSU, Frank Wilson brought in Harlem Berry, Leonard Fournette. He was impactful in bringing Howard Perkins there. You know, Justice Haynes, Gillespie. You know about Gillespie. That's one of your guys. He was huge in bringing Keely Dean there just this year. Sign him. He got him to commit. Justice Haynes, he was responsible for bringing him in there. So, like, there were heavy hitters attacking this kid. And LSU was able to just pry him away. You know, the room in LSU is kind of thin. Talk to me about the room there. I was a fan of John Emery. Now that the injuries happen, I think the door is wide open for my man.
Yeah, I truly feel for John Emery. I really do. But there's also Josh Williams there. He got 23 attempts, 72 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 3.1 yards per carry, 3 receptions, 18 yards. And, you know, no explosiveness is kind of the name of the game here. Caleb Jackson, 20 carries, 69 yards, 3.5 yards per carry. And then we mentioned, you know, John Emery Jr. Like I said, I just feel for him. He got 10 carries for 61 yards, and then he's out. But, yeah, that's the room. So there's definitely some opportunity there.
They were struggling for explosiveness. And last week, Emery came in, right? Ripped off a couple runs, had a couple good big plays. And back-to-back years where he had some issues scholastically, you know, and he couldn't get, you know, his grades up. So he missed a lot of time for LSU. Finally got it right. You know what I mean? And he was doing his thing and had an opportunity. It seems as though he's out for the season. I'm pretty sure. I think they said something about ACL or Achilles.
Yeah,
or something
I think he's
like
out
that.
for the season.
So he's out for the season. I mean, in one game, this gentleman made these guys look kind of foolish. 16 attempts, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns versus South Carolina. He had 11 attempts, 90 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's his total numbers. I mean, he played nickels the first game. I think he got time in like 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. It was a blowout. But, I mean, South Carolina defense has been cooking this season. And he was out there wheeling and dealing. I'm a big fan of this kid. Now, I saw a little bit of it in the game, and then my guy, all-purpose scout, my guy Jason, had put it out there, and the light clicked on my head. I went back and looked, and man, if everything clicks for this kid, he has a Devin A-Chain style of
I like that
game to him. People underrate the phicality to Devin A-Chain and just see the speed.
I agree, and it was something that I said when he was coming out of college. That I thought he was better in between the tackles than he was given credit for.
I said, you know me. I always said he was better than Spiller. Spiller's still looking to get some time here in the NFL. And Devin A-Chain coming off an injury. He wasn't shying away from anything on Thursday night against your Bills. Right? He was cooking.
He wasn't missing a beat. He was frustrating.
Yeah,
not the only thing that frustrated me that night, but he was. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the game. I think this gentleman, 5'9", same kind of size. Like A-Chain's 5'10", right around that 200, 205 pounds.
Right.
But this dude is an absolute menace. And then, you know, A-Chain got 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns over 2 seasons. Because Spiller was there at Texas A&M.
Right.
Over, you know, it was like over 300 attempts, you know, in the 2 years that he was there. So he can carry the rock. He was 3rd round pick last year. But now, if it doesn't all work out,
right,
and
I love how you always do the ceiling, and then you also do the floor.
I try to, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't work, because not everybody's gonna click. Right. You know what I mean? So I do see maybe 3 to 6 year run in the NFL if it doesn't all click, and he kind of makes the Leon Washington,
who was an excellent special teamer,
right?
Great third down guy. He was able to play some pivotal time for the New York Jets. So.
When the injuries went down, he was able to fill in and carry the rock and be a lead back for them when they needed him.
Washington fan.
But at Florida State, you know, over 4 years, the numbers don't jump off the screen. He did have 12 touchdowns, 2,000 yards, 360 attempts. We ended up getting drafted in the 4th round in 2006 to the Jets. So it's like, it's not bad. That's not like, you know, it's the end of the draft. I'll take a shot. That's a pretty decent, you know, pick there. And like I said, he was, you know, he was used frequently for the Jets. He was a journeyman. I can't think of the other teams that he did play for. I want to say he might have played for the Colts. I might be wrong there, but
he did play for another AFC team. I can't think about. I don't know why the Raiders just popped in my head. I don't remember who the other team was.
Yeah. Was it the Raiders?
I'm not sure.
Might have been. But yeah, like I can see this gentleman. I don't think he's going to hit the floor. I think we're going to see more towards the ceiling. Where I think he's more of that, you know, Devin A-Chain style back, speed guy, not afraid to take a linebacker on in the hole. Can run in between the tackles, can run outside the tackles, can be a receiving threat. I truly believe that, you know, I said, what is he? Number 6?
It was the Jets, Seahawks, Patriots, and Titans.
Seahawks. That was yeah. I number 5. I think there's a chance that this guy, you know, I know James Peoples and Tatum, and those are the big names, but he's already getting totes as a freshman, and I have a funny feeling he'll be RB1 coming into the next week. For them, he could surpass, you know, maybe not overall, but I think, you know, in this year and next year, he could surpass both Tatum and Peoples as being like, you know, this is this should have been the RB1
right
of this class.
He has a huge opportunity to do it now because, you know, here's his moment. He did it against South Carolina. He should be leading them in toast.
Brian Kelly would be absolutely ridiculous to not start him next week. Right. I think his game opens up Nussmeier way more because he's good in the pass pro. This guy has no problem sitting in a hole and taking on a linebacker or chipping off an edge rusher. I know people are like, oh well, he's 5'9", 205. He plays like he's probably, you know, 5'11", 215.
Yeah,
you know?
he has a solid frame. And in NFL, he's probably going to add about 7 pounds to his frame anyway because it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt his speed. So
he's going to weigh as a junior at LSU. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's 205 now. It wouldn't surprise me if he was, because a lot of these
215.
250. These top programs, they can do it. We've seen Clinton Portis do it. We've seen him as the slasher and the speedster when he was with Denver, and then when he went to Washington, Joe Gibbs won more of that John Reagan style runner. So Clinton Portis was able to put on weight and be that type of runner. I thought it shortened his career because, you know, you remember how explosive Clinton Portis was when he first got in the league. But you know,
his counterpart, Will Smith, same way.
Same way.
But you know, like he could play that physical in the hole runner, but he could also play on the outside. You could get him the ball in the pass game, and wasn't afraid to stiff arm a dude to put a hat to a helmet. You know, and he's not afraid to do that. Even though he will chip, you know, 285-pound edge coming around the corner and then just slide out. So I think this kid has a huge opportunity, and I have a funny feeling we talk about Caden Durham quite some time in the not so near future.
Agreed.
I'm Nino Brown. That's my partner in crime, KT, the governor of college football. I am the mayor of college football. This is DEVY DARLING on the CFB Nation. And once again, we out.